No matter where in the world you are, geopolitical gaming knows no limits. So this is the Geopolitical Gamer, and we are back with Regiments. And we are in the 6th phase of the first operation of Regiments, which is Operation Dissonance. And since the last phase, we also reached the 3rd stage of this operation, which is Mühlhausen. So just to give you a brief recap on what happened in this operation. So basically, we were tasked by the East German leadership to crush down an uprising of defecting elements of the 4th Motorschützendivision in the countryside near the town of Eisenach. So these rebels go by the name of Freie Republik Deutschland, so Free Republic of Germany or just FRD. So as specifically, this is very close to the German border. The East German leadership is very anxious. So in the first stage of this operation, we had to team up with loyalist elements of the 4th Motorschützendivision, which refused to join the rebels and defend them from any counterattacks near the village of Lauterbach. In the second stage, we then advanced to the Vogtei chemical plant and we further cleared it out from any rebel presence. Now in the third stage, we have advanced to Mühlhausen, which is where the rebel command center is located, and we are supposed to give them a final critical blow. But in the previous phase, in which we made our first attempt to take Mühlhausen, there happened a horrible incident. So a ballistic missile strike was called in, likely from the rebels themselves, and the ballistic missile strike hit gas containers which were stored on trains at a rail station, and the gas containers were damaged, so a spillage occurred, and we could not further advance to Mühlhausen due to the toxic environment. So we now have to finish the rebels off in NBC gear. So this entire incident is quite strange. It is almost like a chemical attack on us, but it largely failed as it mostly damaged only the rebel forces themselves. But before we now head to the battle preparations, let's just take a look at the operation log again. And it looks like we also have new messages, and we have exactly one new message which is titled The Black Swan, and it is issued by the headquarters of the 7th Panzer Division, Militärbezirk 3, and it says, "The situation is rapidly spiraling out of control, but your mission remains the same. Finish off the rebels in this area. The evacuation, the investigation, the who and why, all will be addressed after we've secured the area. We've been preparing to fight in NBC conditions for years. Time to put those skills to use." Alright, that's all. So let's head back to the battle preparations. So far we have done well in our previous phase. We took some losses, but really not too heavy ones. And we have still 86 operational authority remaining, which we can now invest into replenishing our units. We could also further upgrade one of our task forces, but I think it is more of a matter of taste, so I think it will be really enough here if we just replenish all of our lost units. Yeah, and that's pretty much it already. But before we head to the events for this upcoming next phase, I just want to give you insight upon one more fun fact. So you see here on the right side the minimap. And I was interested into learning whether or not these are real places, and indeed they are, and indeed the developers also took some inspiration from the real world places, so I think that's quite funny actually. So there's no factory or anything like the Vogtei chemical plant here. And I think most important, you see here that there's a Bratwurst museum at Mühlhausen. So if you ever plan to pay it a visit, that's definitely a must-see. Alright, and that's all so far, and let's head to the event for this next upcoming phase. And we have in total 3 events available, so we could go for repair depot damage, we could go for divisional artillery or extended operation. So as we are only having like 2 phases remaining, we would be dumb to go with the handicap as an event for this upcoming phase. So we will choose one of the boosters. And as we are still not in the last phase of this stage, we will go with divisional artillery, so we can then use the extended operation if we have to like fight another phase. And that's pretty much all so far, and we can now head to the battle. Alright, and we are back at Mühlhausen now. So in the previous phase we fought in the middle of the night, and now it's in the morning. So the situation has calmed a little bit down. And if we head to the rail station, we see that the situation has not changed too much here. So our units are still in the back and are waiting to be given orders again to proceed capturing the rail station and Mühlhausen. Yeah, and what is our ally doing so far? So he's here at Hill 78 and he's readying up here to take back the warehouses again, which we lost in the last phase, if you remember. So this means that we then can concentrate on taking the right flank towards Mühlhausen, so we can basically encircle the rebel stronghold from both sides. So there are still outgassings here at the rail station, so we have to be a bit careful here. But let's just see what the equipment is capable of. I think they will be well equipped to handle this environment. Okay, so we don't have any points for engineering support, so we can end the deployment mode. I pretty much think that we will not encounter any resistance at the rail station, but I might be wrong. And I'm also moving forward the mortars here and my reconnaissance platoon, as well as also my supply unit. There's still like one reconnaissance unit of BRM-1 case there, so I'm also moving it to my main line of attack. So I don't have anything else remaining here. And yeah, let's proceed with the mission. And we are already encountering resistance. We encountered only very little resistance, so I think we can proceed. So I will first move in with my tanks, and if the perimeter is clear, the rest can follow. So there's still like a mortar emplacement here, but they don't have much of a chance. And our allies here are securing the warehouses, so everything is going according to plan, I would say.
Zone captured.
I think we can like move in with the rest of the force. And from the rail station we can then proceed to take Mühlhausen. And there are still like tank hunters there. But they have been zeroed in like no time. So let's see whether or not we can get a small glimpse on what is going on in Mühlhausen here. And I'm getting some nasty fire into our flanks
Zone
here.
captured.
So there is some entrenched mechanized infantry. Let's just try to flank them with my T-72s here. So far, Mühlhausen
Zone
looks
captured.
secure, but it might be a wrong impression that I have. Who knows? So there's still something firing at us from Mezen, but I don't know what this is supposed to be. So I will smoke here the entrance to Mühlhausen, so I can rush in here safely with the mechanized infantry. But the tanks will not have much problems here. Yeah, and it looks like we are about to secure Mühlhausen. Zeroing here this department with the help of our allies, and our allies are also moving to Mühlhausen 2 already. Yeah, I think so far it's looking pretty good. Mühlhausen is almost taken.
Zone captured.
Of course, we also had the chemicals village, which is something which is not that nice. But sometimes we will have to live with such things. Allies are taking here care of Mezen, and we here take Mühlhausen too. So it looks like we have then also satisfied all victory conditions.
Zone captured.
So, Looks like we have nothing more to do, but we still have 13 more minutes, so we can then take here Mezen as well as the farm. So I will just move all my units away from the rail station as we don't need them there anymore. Yeah, I'm also pulling back my T-72 platoon here, as I think instead also the BTR-70 platoon can go here to capture Mezen. So let's proceed to take the farm together with our allies. All right.
Zone captured.
Yeah, and it looks like we will achieve total domination here. Yeah, there was some further resistance, but we have already taken care of it. Ah, and it looks like there's
Zone
still a tank
captured.
platoon
Total
there.
domination achieved.
Alright, and we have finished the mission, and probably all we have to do now is to fend off any counterattacks. Okay, no, so we have already won. So that's it. And that's actually quite amazing. So we made 0 losses, but like the forces of the Freie Republik lost like 78 soldiers. And only 1 wounded and only 1 missing. So maybe the guy was abducted by a UFO. But I think otherwise there's not too exciting stuff here in the after action report. So I think that's pretty much it. But let's just have a last look at the battlefield. So I think there's actually not so much exciting stuff going on there anymore. Except that we would have still crushed some remaining scattered units of the Freie Republik there. But it's a hopeless endeavor for them, because we are simply here on the prevailing side. Alright, so that's it. So let's end this phase. So let's read the epilogue of the operation. The rebel command structures are beheaded, and yet it's hard to call this a victory. Chemical spill, the horrific death toll among the population of Eisenach. What's next? Nuclear strikes? Before we end this video, let's have a last look at the victory results. So we lost in total 102 soldiers and the rebels 621. Let's also have a look at our unit statistics. So on the first place is the platoon of T-72s with in total 35 kills. On the second place is the platoon of BTR-70s, likely with the ATGMs with 34 kills. And on the third place, another platoon of T-72s with in total 28 kills. Alright, so this was Operation Dissonance, in which we were tasked to crush down an uprising of rebels under the name of Freie Republik Deutschland, so Free Republic of Germany. The East German leadership was very anxious about it, as the uprising was here near the German border. And there happened in our final strike against the rebels a chemical incident, so a ballistic missile struck gas canisters filled with chlorine. And we now have to live with the aftermath of it and civilian casualties. So let's see what will happen then in the follow-up operations. Alright, so then that's it. If you enjoyed this video, I would be happy if you could leave a like. Also consider subscribing if you want to stay updated on any future video uploads of mine. And feel free to leave a comment if you notice something funny in the video or just have something interesting to say. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next video.